What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Hangout Spot, where you already know it's real talk, boxing talk, live from my man cave. It's your boy Johnny, and I am your host for another episode of the Hangout Spot Live. That's right, we rocked out on Tuesday, and for those of you that were able to join us on the live show, I mean, you got a spectacular interview from my boy, head coach, head trainer, Mark Ferre, who is the head trainer of the chosen one, Edgar Berlanga. It was one hell of an interview. And if you did not get to see it live with us, make sure you go and check it out on my channel at the Hangout Spot. The recording is there along with all my other interviews and all my other live shows, man. But that was one hell of an interview, man. Mark opened up on his past, what got him started in the sport of boxing, his relationship with Edgar Berlanga, and his relationship with all his other fighters, because he has an amazing array of fighters in his stable. I mean, the Hammer, Erickson Lubin, who's a 154-pound contender, and a lot of prospects, on Pro Box. Najee Lopez, who's undefeated light heavyweight. I mean, he's got Dominic Valle, another undefeated super featherweight. Darrell Blast Balsaint, undefeated middleweight. So, I mean, there's a lot of good talent there. And trust me, I've been around these guys, and they have taken to Mark's coaching style. He's one of the old school type coaches, right? No nonsense, all business, all about accountability, and they've taken to that. And you can see it with the way they fight. If you have not seen any of them fight, make sure you check them out. But that was an amazing interview. And tonight we got another one, man. We got another one. In just a little bit, we're going to be joined by the man himself, the legend, Jacob Stitch Duran. And when it comes to Cutman in the world of combat sports, they don't get any bigger than Stitch Duran. I mean, he is absolutely, in my opinion, the GOAT. And I'll argue that with anybody, man. I mean, this guy has been, in the world of combat sports, MMA, professional boxing for decades, for decades. And, I think the true question to ask Stitch when he comes on is who he hasn't worked with, because he's pretty much worked with everybody in the sport of boxing. But before we get started and we get Stitch in, you know the deal here. There's ground rules at the Hangout Spot Live, man. If you are watching this live on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button. You smash that like button, as it will help with the visibility of the channel. And if you're watching this on recording after the live show, make sure you hit that like button, man. We're trying to get this channel out to more viewers out there so that they know that we rocking out 2 times a week, sometimes even 3 times a week. And if you have not subscribed to the Hangout Spot, make sure you subscribe now. And last but not least, the chat is open. It's free, but the super chat option is always open as well. If you want to throw a brother a bone, I'll always appreciate that. But lots to talk about today. We got the heavyweight clash this weekend in Saudi Arabia, the rematch between Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. An exciting matchup, which we're gonna touch on a little bit later on. But what I want to do right now is I want to get into my guests, because, like I said, it's not very often that I get a chance to chat it up and talk with a true legend, at his craft. I mean, when it comes to Stitch, like I said, in baseball, you got Mariano Rivera. He's the closer. He's the GOAT of the closers. And in basketball, you got Michael Jordan, who's the GOAT of the NBA. And when it comes to combat sports and Cutman, I mean, nobody else does it better than Stitch. Decades of experience. He's worked with the biggest names in the sport, the Klitschko brothers, Andre Ward, Tyson Fury, Mike Tyson. I mean, and he's also in movies, man. If you haven't seen him in the corner, check out one of the Creed movies, and you'll see him working in the corner of Michael B. Jordan, who is Adonis Creed in the Creed movies. He's also been in those movies, and I believe he's going to be in the next one, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But without further ado, I want to bring in my main man, Stitch Duran, man. What's going on, my brother? Welcome back to the Hangout Spot, man.
It's the only place to hang out, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. I know that you came on about 6 months ago. It was about 6 months ago. Yeah. It felt like it was yesterday. And I wasn't doing live shows yet. I was just doing recorded interviews, and you were nice enough, to come on. And it was an amazing interview. I got a lot of great feedback from that interview. Yeah. So I just want to thank you for that. But I always told you that when I start doing live shows, I needed to get you back on again.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And because, like I said, you're a polarizing figure. You're one of the biggest names in boxing, somebody that I look up to. So, I just want to say thank you for all you do for the sport of boxing. and thank you for being a true legend at your at your craft.
Yeah, it's been a blessing, bro. I mean, just it blows my mind every day, you know. But as I look at it, as Stallone said, it had to happen to somebody. I just happen to be that guy, you know. So
Hey,
I've been blessed, man. But I've worked at it. You know, it just don't come easy.
no, absolutely, absolutely. And I was telling my viewers, right before you came in, I don't even know if Stitch can give me a ballpark figure of the amount of fighters in both the MMA world, combat sports, and boxing that you've
No.
worked with, man. Hundreds and hundreds. Can you not even a hint, right? What would you say if you had to take a wild guess?
Nah, I'd be in the thousands, bro. You know, I don't know. It's just people have asked me that, and you know, how many hands have I wrapped, and how many cuts have I worked, and how many fights have I worked, and how many world title fights that I've worked. You know, I was in Phoenix with the Top Rank show a couple of weeks ago, and Julio Cesar Chavez is there, right? And I had told him before, but I reminded him. I said, you know, just want to remember the first world title fight I ever worked was against with Tony the Tiger Lopez, and so not a bad way to start is working against Julio Cesar Chavez.
The legend,
of course, yeah.
Wow.
And you know, and I was thinking as I left, you know, because we're talking, and I've never had a picture with him. So next time we do a show together, I got to make sure I have a picture with the man, my first world title fight. You know, in boxing, I had a lot of world title fights in kickboxing, but in boxing, couldn't get no better than starting from the top.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. It kind of feels weird because, like I said, the last time I did an interview with you, I had to make sure that the next show that I saw you at, I got a picture with you. We were able to get a picture in the Miami show when Teofimo was headlining. You were a busy man that night. I think you had like 3 or 4 fighters, that you were working the corner with that night. But it's no surprise. I mean, I don't think there's any weekend, Stitch, that I don't see you in somebody's corner.
Yeah,
in fact,
I went to the Raiders Monday Night Football game, and the guy says, "Hey, man, I see you every week." You know, but it's just the way, and you know what makes it real special, John, is to this day, bro, I've never asked for one job. You know, and that fight that you saw me with Teofimo, that's a Top Rank show. So when COVID was in effect, because I lived like 20 minutes from the MGM, Top Rank were going to do 16 shows at the bubble, 2 shows a week. And they were limited on who they could bring in. So they asked me and Mike Basil to be the house cutman, kind of like what I did with the UFC. So, yeah, we would have 2 shows a week. And they liked the program so much because, you know, I mean, I'm working multiple fights. For me with the UFC, it was normal. And I just brought that process into working with Top Rank. So working 3, 4, 5 shows or 5 fights in one night is pretty common. 3 for sure, you know, so when I get one, I wouldn't know what to act, you know, but that hasn't happened, you know. So I just got a call from a guy that his son's fighting February the 14th in New York. That's one of the shows I got scheduled. So
that's a Top Rank show. That's
Keyshawn.
Keyshawn Davis is headlining that against Baranchek, I believe, right?
I don't know. I just show up, bro.
Yeah. That's the one.
Yeah.
If it's in the Garden. Keyshawn. Yeah, if it's in New York City, at the Garden or the small room at the Garden, he's the one headlining.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a good kid. It's good, you know, it's good working with Top Rank to see the young generation up and coming through their ranks, you know, and it's nice to work with some of them.
It's funny you say that because I do a lot of prospect cards here in Florida, and I love working those cards with those guys that are up and coming, man. I mean, just the hunger, because again, they're trying to make a name for themselves, right? They're trying to get ranked, and they're very, very humble. It's just something about that, right? When you're with somebody from the ground up, right? A day one. So no, I love those shows. Have there ever been a time where you have so much going on that you tell people, nah, man, I can't?
Yeah. I'm already booked, so, but I appreciate it. And but the thing with Top Rank is, cause we do all their shows now. Right. Mm-hmm. And the thing with them is if I have a job that's economically a lot better, then they will let me go do those shows. And cause we have alternate cutmen that we'll bring in, to work with these guys. And these guys are the guys that I approved because they have MMA experience and boxing experience. So guys that have worked on cuts, guys that have wrapped hands and take care of these guys. So yeah, I've been blessed, man. my final show this year is I go the 28th. I go to Tokyo. I'm working New Year's Eve with Kazuto Ayoka from Japan. So I finished my year.
Ah, okay. Which was
Beautiful.
weird. Which was weird because when I reached out to you, I I I thought that you would probably be in Saudi Arabia this weekend for the big fight with Fury and Usyk. So I'm like, Stitch is not probably going to have time to talk to me this week, but I'm going to try anyway.
Yeah, no, I'm glad being home right now, man. It's been a crazy year, I'm telling you, and it just the entertainment value. People, I mean, interviews. I've done interview after the Mike Tyson fight, right? And then I've been to the Raider games twice, and I went to go see Barry Manilow. People are inviting me now. Hey man, that's the guy that worked with Mike Tyson, right? So. Yeah, I'm due for a nice little rest between now and the time I go to Tokyo. But for me, this is barbershop talk. This is relaxing.
No, I appreciate that. Like I said, for you to take time out of your busy schedule for me, man, it's very much appreciated. Yeah, man, at least you get to spend some time with the family for Christmas.
Yeah.
You'll be home. Big card this weekend, and I know that you worked with Tyson Fury in the past. That's why I was figuring. I'm like, I think he's going to be in Saudi Arabia. Claudia's out there. Claudia Trejos.
Yes.
And I had her on last week.
I saw that piece, man, and yeah, she's a good girl, man. She's a doll, and they're filming a documentary in my life, right?
Yes, and that's what we're going to talk about in a little while.
Yeah, she has a very important little piece that they use there in the trailer, where she says, "Oh, wait." It's aren't they independent contractors? And so her words were spoken very highly and very strong. So
oh yeah. No, we spoke about you. I mean, nothing but good stuff. But that's why I shot you the video. I wanted to make sure that you knew that we were showing you some love, man. You're one of the best to ever do it, but you're also a great guy. Like I said, and you always show me love. So I want to say that I appreciate that. But yeah, before I do want to talk about your documentary. That's one of the main reasons why I got you on here. But we're going to get to that in a little bit. But for some of my viewers that didn't get a chance to see the first interview that we did about 6 months ago, I want you to kind of touch on a little bit the origin of the Stitch name. Where did Stitch come from?
Yeah, it's great because I spoke to Scott Coker. I don't know if you know who Scott Coker is, but he used to be the president of Strike Force, and then UFC bought him, and then he was the president of Bellator. But when I had my school of kickboxing, my fighters used to fight under his card. So anyway, one of them or two of them that I worked with is Dennis Alexio. At that time, was the best athlete I ever met in my life. He was a world champion kickboxer. Came out in the movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme. He was the brother in the wheelchair, but a great athlete. Well, his sparring partner, Dave Rooney, they fought on the same card in Vallejo, California. I had my school of kickboxing in Fairfield. It's like 30 miles away. And I was a trainer before I was a cutman, but I was learning to be a cutman, and the only way to do it is by observing other guys. So I used to see guys cut tape in little pieces of strip and then butterfly. And Dave Rooney, now knowing what I know now, John, I wasn't that big of a cut, but I did what they did is I made little butterflies and I closed up his cut, and he said, "Oh man, I don't have to go to the hospital. You send me some stitches, I'm gonna call you Stitch." And that's where the name came from. And I was talking to Scott Coker about it last night. I don't know if Dave Rooney knows how much he just changed my life by giving me that nickname. You don't get your own nickname. Those are given to you out of respect. And last time I had heard that he was a fisherman in Alaska, and then so yeah, I hope to run into him one of these days and say, "Hey man, name Stitch." People don't even know my real name.
I was just gonna say that. Like, how many people actually call you Jacob?
No, the only ones that do is the ones that knew me before Stitch. It's crazy. Hey man, what's your name? Michael B. Jordan. I'm wrapping his hands in the third movie, and every day it's just him and I. And I see you got a picture of him and Rocky up there. Love it. But I'm wrapping Michael's hands, and I'm wrapping Michael's hands, and I'm telling him how proud I am of him and Tessa and Ryan Coogler and Steve Cappell, and he looks at me and says, "Stitch, we went from being writers, actors, to directors, to promoters and directors." He goes, "I'm directing Creed 3, and you're with me as long as you want." And but doing that, I said, "Hey, Michael, do you know my real name?" He says, Stitch. I said, no, no, no. Do you know my real name? He says, I don't. He goes, that's Jacob. He laughs. You don't look like a Jacob. Well, that piece is in the documentary, which I
Is
think
it?
is great. But it was funny because
Okay.
I was wrapping guys' hands. I said, why don't we try a little social media experiment and see if, as I wrap these guys' hands, if they know my real name, right? And some guys didn't, but some of the guys, oh yeah, Jacob. I said, oh shit, delete. I don't want your video. I want the ones that don't know my real name. And Mason
That's
Abdullah.
cool.
Yeah, Mason Abdullah. Yeah, Jacob. I said, oh gee, all right. So anyway, Jacob Duran.
Wow, no, that's cool, man. No,
That's crazy.
listen, I get it because, like I said, I mean, that's who you are, man.
Hey man, but I'm getting stopped and I'm being asked if I'm that actor. Edward James Olmos.
Edward James Olmos, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
bro, I get it all the time, all the time, all the time. I'm telling you. Hey, no, I have to show him a picture of me and him together. I said, no, we're friends, He said, shit, and I got a video where he's saying that people call him Stitch when he goes to the fight. Hey, Stitch, hey, man. Yeah.
Wow.
But you look at the picture, and
you showed me the picture the last time.
Yeah.
You put the picture on the screen. I remember I asked you, I said, is there ever a doubt of who would play your part if there was a Stitch movie?
Yeah. Edward James Olmos. And it was funny because I don't know if I told you this piece. I'm doing a movie with Sly, right? And we're on break, and it's Sylvester's friend Frank and myself and Sylvester. And we're talking to the makeup people, just talking, And Frank is bragging about me. Stitch this and Stitch that, and the best cut man, and looks like Edward James almost. And without skipping a beat like this, Sylvester Stallone's arms across. He goes, more like Edward James almost. Man, that was a cold shot, bro. But what a better way to get hit.
Good old Sly Stallone, man. Good old Sly Stallone. Carlos Colon Velez, my boy. You're a legend, sir. Much respect. He absolutely is. I am here with the great Stitch Duran. Listen, I can talk boxing. I can talk sports with you forever. But what about, so you said that you've been asked a lot about this whole Mike Tyson, Jake Paul thing, right? Because I saw you working in the corner of Mike Tyson. I got a couple of questions about that. One of them is
I'm sure you do.
Yeah, one of them is kind of funny. But before we get to that one, how was it? I mean, that was the most historic watched event in the history of pro sports, I believe, right? I mean, over 60 million or somewhat people. It was the first time on the Netflix platform. Mike Tyson, Jake Paul. How was that experience, Stitch?
It was unbelievable. You're talking about 60 million people. No,
was it more than that?
Room. Well, let me tell you, I'm in the dressing room with the guy from Netflix there, and he's looking at the numbers. And as Amanda Serrano's fight is on, they have like 50 million households.
50 some odd there, right?
Okay,
right.
That was then. And then by the time we were walking out with Mike, it was like 65 million households. But then Jake Paul brought out just the other day, thank you guys for everybody, but they projected that there were like 125 million people that were actually watching the fight. Wow. I get stopped everywhere, bro. I get friends that I haven't talked to in years, and they are, hey, I saw you on TV. Go to the post office. Hey, I'm telling my daughter, that's one of my patients, one of my workers here. So, yeah, it was a trip.
Wow. Were you, listen, I know you've been around for a long time, decades. Did you get a sense of nerves because of how big this event was?
Another day in the office, bro.
I mean, you're in Mike Tyson's corner, though.
Yeah, no, that the thing about it, that alone is a privilege. I've known Mike for 27 years. I interviewed him before he had his tattoos, and we used to train at the same gym, and he always has his own team. Yeah, but to get to work with Mike is working with Mike. That itself is an honor. But it's another day in the office. I've done the Jake Paul fights before. Nate Diaz, and I did KSI with Logan Paul and Anson Gibbs when he fought Jake Paul, and so I've done those shows. So I've done shows in Tokyo, 100,000 people, and it just but just excited, just being there with Mike is itself was an honor. And then Javier Cordero, that was the trainer. I worked with him. It's Brazilian fighters when I was with the UFC, so it was nice. And then to get Amir Abdullah, it was a good team. But I'm sure you're going to ask the question, what happened to Mike? at the end of the second round, I told Amir Abdullah, one of the coaches, I said, look, he hit a brick wall. Boom. You know, and the thing about it is you can beat anything, but you can't beat time, you know, and I saw Mike training in the gym, and he trained ferocious, you know, but come fight time when, you know, you're going against somebody to get hit on a regular basis.
It's different. Yeah.
It changes. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And I think what drew people in is they were thinking that they were going to see the Tyson from 30 years ago. But again, I mean, the guy is close to 60 years old. I kind of knew that was going to happen. But again, the whole mystique, I mean, Tyson is one of my idols.
Yeah.
You know, I'm hoping for a blast from the past, but you know, it was what it was. I mean, realistically, there really was no losers with the amount of money those guys generated, you know, for that event. And again, it was an event. The Amanda Serrano Katie Taylor fight was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the fight of the night for me. That was the fight that I was looking forward to the most, and it didn't disappoint. The decision disappointed me, but not
no, you're right. And Mike Basil, that works with me as a Cutman with Top Rank, he was working with Amanda Serrano. And I'm in the dressing room. I'm watching the fights on the big screen as Mike's getting ready and all that. And I'm looking at his techniques and everything he did right to control the bleeding. But the cut was so big, you know, that at what stage, you know, does the corner look at it? And I did this with Vladimir Klitschko, is he had that big old cut. And before, you know, if I stopped it at the fifth round, it would go to the scorecards. I knew he was winning. Well, I think Amanda was winning at that point. If they would have stopped the fight, go to the scorecards, and high probability that she would have won the fight. But as the game continued, I'm sure it bothered her to the point where, you know, it became in, you know, Katie Taylor's favor. So, but that's, you know, knowing the game.
Yeah, you know, I'm glad you brought that up because that I want to touch on that because you guys, Cutman, are the most important people in the corner that really aren't recognized too much, right? You guys have decided outcomes of fights based on how you manage cuts, or for example, what you just said. So shout out to you and all the Cutmen out there. But did you that's one of the questions I wanted to ask that I think you answered. Would you have considered stopping that based on that, how bad it was?
With Serrano?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but how much say does the fighter have in that, Stitch?
Well, you know,
does it depend on the fighter?
Let me explain it to you this way. When Vladimir got cut, it was his first comeback fight, and he was winning. He did look good, but he was winning. And he had that cut in that vein. You can't stop bleeding because, well, the medication we use is the adrenaline chloride 1,000.
You told me that the last time, yeah.
We talked about it last time. We squeeze it, put it in there. It absorbs into the vein and it closes it. Well, these cuts like this are so big that you won't be able to get the adrenaline to go into the vessel because blood is coming out. So the best thing to do is stop them. A cut like that, you know, it's the blood wasn't really affecting her, but mentally, I'm sure the cut was. Absolutely. But at that point, you know, with Vladimir, I knew he was winning the fight. And to your point, I whispered to his ear and Vitaly's ear. I said, look, you got a back cut. You're winning the fight. I'm going to have the doctor stop the fight. And Emmanuel Stewart's on the other side. He didn't hear it. So when the doctor came, she said, well, what do you think? And I've worked with her before. I opened the cut and I said, it's pretty bad. Stopped the cut, went to the scorecards, and he became world champion for 8 years after that fight. Amanda Serrano, there'll be a rematch, I am sure, because it was such an entertaining fight. But, you know, that's knowing the game. Tim Tszyu, when he fought, the corner did a horrible injustice for him. You know, he lost his world title, lost his credibility in a cut that should have been stopped.
Yeah, we spoke about that. You said it was in a really, really bad area. Is a cut on the top of the head worse than a cut on the eyelid?
Yeah, because especially because you got the bigger veins up here, right? Especially if you pop one of those veins, then the blood is going to come down this way. You know, when you get cut up here, you can control actually as when you apply the Vaseline to if it's going to bleed, the blood will come to the side. You see what I'm saying? So you can kind of manipulate it a little bit. And but yeah, the one up on top that comes down and kind of. I worked with Chon Cepeda with Manny Robles, and same thing. He got a cut up there, and they're very hard to find number one. So what Manny did through his experience, and we talked about it the other day at the fights, he got water and he flushed the blood out for me to see the cut, and then I applied the medication. So that was teamwork, but that's experience.
Right. And there aren't a lot of experienced cutmen in boxing today.
You know, that's a shame, and let me address that. And I try to educate, because it's not fair to these young guys that they don't have the right idea. But if a young fighter asks me, how do I get a cut, man? I said, look, here's what you got to look for. If you put the swab in his mouth or in his ear, get another cut maker. That's filthy. No gloves, that's filthy. But then ask him with the medication. I mentioned that before, the adrenaline chloride 1/1000. Well, we put in the swab and we put it in there. And if he says, it stops the bleeding. Yeah, but why? And I've heard these because I've asked these guys. Wow, okay, but what does it do? It coagulates the blood. If he tells you that it coagulates the blood, get another cut maker. That's the wrong answer. The medication we use is a vessel constrictor. It's two different operations. But see, that's my point to you, Johnny, is it'll take nothing for us to be certified. None of us, coaches, top coaches and cutmen, none of us have to be certified to be called professionals, to do what we do. Just pick up a towel and $50 and you're a cutman. Yep.
That's crazy. I mean, I saw a young kid the other day at one of the cards that I was working, and I said to him, and again, I'm not judging, but I'm like, wow, I mean, how much experience does this guy have? Yeah. I mean, he looked good. He had all the band that you guys had with the Vaseline and the swabs and all this other stuff, but I'm like, but again, I'm not here to judge.
No, but you are. But I created that persona. The gloves, the swab here with the, the new generation of cutmen are kind of following, which is good. At least they're paying attention, right? And
right.
I said Marco Antonio Badera years ago when he fought here in Vegas, that his thing for when he got cut, and somehow it was like dental floss, big old long string like this, and he got it and he put it in the cut, and then he pulled it out like this. I think, what the hell's that?
Wow.
It made no sense, whatever.
That
somebody must have said, hey,
right.
Put this, because I've heard it. I've heard guys say, hey, man, use this. It'll stop a bullet. What is it? Well, no, I can't use it. It's the game where we have to educate.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Juice, salute. Thank you for watching. Before we leave the Mike Tyson thing, how weird was it, Stitch, to see Mike Tyson walking in the back with his butt cheeks out, man? Because you were back there.
And it was funny because I was grabbing some footage and all that. And
I had to ask you that.
I was telling my wife today, I said, okay, I told man that they showed Mike's ass, And, that was
Stitch, that shit went viral, man.
I know.
I'm watching. I'm doing the live fight chat on the Boxing Boys. Shout out to the Boxing Boys. And we're like, oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, he's standing right by me as he's walking away, and I'm looking at that. What can I say? For him just to have a cup on with no underwear underneath it was different for me, right? I've never seen that. Usually guys will wear underwear under the jock above it, and or the cushion. So, yeah.
That's correct. I'm sorry, man. I had to ask you that because you were literally front and center right there, man.
And it was
few feet away, man. I think I saw you.
Yeah. No, I look at him. I think, but I already saw him walking around, that way. He was walking around like that for 10, 15 minutes. So, but they got him with his ass going out.
Mike is wilding out, man. He's the man though. He could get away with stuff like that. Mike.
Hey, but you know what, man? It's like I say, I've been in a lot of great moments, great moments. But working with Mike Tyson is, I mean, like I always say, how many guys have done 3 moves with Rocky? Well, shit, I have. 3 with Michael B. Jordan. Well, I have. Well, how many guys have worked with Mike Tyson? So
Stitch, I'm telling you, man, you the man, man. You a legend.
Yeah, but it just happens, bro. I'm just a proud Chicano that things just happen. To this day, I've never asked for a job, and I don't want to ask for a job.
No, that's awesome, man. Listen, I'm blessed to be talking to you, man.
Yeah, it's all barbershop talk, man. I enjoy this. You know, once a week, once every 2 weeks, I told my wife I'm gonna do a gym run. You know, I'll go to Top Rank and shoot the shit with the guys there and hang out, watch them, and then I'll go to Bones Adams' gym and I'll go to Salas's gym, and then I'll finish up at Top Rank.
Nah, you're the man, man. You never tell me no, man, when it comes to chatting up here, man.
No, but you know, I understand because I used to. I came in as a guest one time for a radio show called The 13th Round here in Vegas, and the guy lost his co-host, and he asked me to stay on. And man, 10 years later, I left. You know, but I remember and I respected Emmanuel Stewart. Every time we called to do an interview with him, he always got back, and I said, you know, that's a respect factor we should give everybody's communications. So.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, we got a question from Liz Rosado. What would you be doing if you weren't a Cutman or in boxing? Good question.
Picking tomatoes, peaches, you know. No, you know,
when farmer?
Huh?
You be farming?
I mean, I grew up as a farm worker, bro. I was born and raised in a migrant camp, right? That's why I never forget where I come from. But when I was in the Air Force, I joined to be a cop. So I was a cop in the Air Force, and I was going to be a cop when I got out. That was a good question. Nobody's ever asked that, Liz. I was going to be a cop, right? But I got offered a 8-to-5 job with R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company with a company car every 3 years and work with a tie in Oakland. And so I took that job. But that would have been, that would have been my job. My youngest son, he wants to get into Metro, the cops here. You know,
okay.
So it's in the blood. A good question. Yeah, nobody's ever asked that question.
No, it's a great question. And Liz Rosado, and Liz Rosado happens to be my wife, who's watching.
Hello, Liz, look at that.
She's supporting.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool question. It was funny. Another question that's never been asked is I did an interview with Marco Antonio Barrera, and it blew me away because when I get there, you know, we talk and all that. But he asked me a question. He says, "Has a fighter ever disrespected you?" Yeah, I said, "No."
That's actually a good question.
I said, no, because I said my job is different than everybody else's because my job is to take care of you. Why would you want to go and, you know, and mess with me?
Right. No, that's a good point. But, you know, I mean, there's certain fighters, like for the most part, you know, I do a lot of shows and, you know, have backstage access to a lot of fighters. And I'm here with legendary Stitch Duran. And for the most part, all the fighters are friendly, cordial. But there's always one or two that are a little like standoffish. They don't really want people around them. Has there ever been somebody that maybe not has been disrespectful, but maybe a little challenging? Well, not as easy to work with. I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, no, when I was with the UFC, I was working the corner. Jason Mayhem Miller was fighting Jonathan Goulet or something like that, and he got the crap beat out of him. And at the end of the fights, our job was to go clean them up for the cameras. And I'm working on him. He said, "Get the fuck out of my leg." I said, "Oh, boom, I left. That's not my problem." But I ran into him months later. He was joking. He said, "Man, I apologize. I was just joking with you." You know, but guys have been very respectful and you know, because they know my job is to take care of you, you know. So I try not to be, you know, just take care of them.
Yeah, no, I get that. So has there ever been a time where one of your fighters has gotten cut to the point where you're like, oh shit, what am I gonna do when he gets to this corner? Am I gonna be able to stop this in less than a minute? Right? Because you got a minute, but
you got like 50 seconds.
50 seconds.
Actually, I was talking to Raul Marquez Jr. yesterday, but his father, Raul Marquez, was the IBF junior middleweight champion. And that was my coming out fight in Las Vegas. I've been here, October would be 30 years. So I've been here 29 and some years. But I worked with, when Oscar De La Hoya fought Macho Camacho here in Vegas at the Thomas and Mack, Raul Marquez was defending his title against Keith Mullins. And Raul, and he's in my documentary because of this situation, he ended up with 5 cuts here, and then 1 here. And something like, I think they were saying like 70 stitches, you know, and just a shitload. But he ended up winning the fight. And so that was a fight that goes down as history as making me, people realize, who is this guy? You know, I was new in Vegas, but they didn't know that I had a lot of experience in kickboxing, you know, with elbows and knees and all that. So I came in kind of like the minor leagues, but I was already working on major cuts. Yeah, good question.
Do fighters ever take care of you, like bonuses or something, or when
Yeah,
stuff like that happens, like you would think, like, yo, I gotta hit Stitch off, man, because
yeah, no, there's
realistically, without him, I wouldn't have won this fight.
yeah, yeah. That's those are the. It's never about the money, right?
Right.
Those if somebody offers like Forrest Griffin, when I kept him in the game when he beat Shogun, he sent me to a nice restaurant, and but it's more of the thoughts, that they think about you and yeah, they've taken care of me, which
Good.
is kind of nice.
No, well deserved, man. Well
Yeah, the
deserved.
managers come by and boom boom. So
Hmm. Let's flip the script. Let's talk a little bit about this documentary because I'm excited about this. This has been a long time in the making. I think you spoke about it. You spoke a little bit about it with me
yeah.
6 months ago when I interviewed you. And I believe that it's going to be making his debut in 2025, right?
Yes, it started. It's by the faith of God, man. It's just I get a call from these guys, and
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. How did this start? And
yeah,
and, and
but
did you
I
feel
get
like
this
this
call.
was the right time?
Yeah, I get this call from I had two other production people that want to do documentaries, and they started filming, and just nothing ever material. But I'm the kind of guy you want to do it, let's do it. I wrote a book called From the Fields to the Garden.
Yep.
Zach Robinson from a teacher in Germany contacted me. And I said, yeah, well, let's do it. Let's do it. So we did it. Well, these guys contacted me and wanted to do a documentary. I said, all right, let's do it. It's called From the Fields to the Garden, same as the book, because I grew up as a farmer. Those are the fields, and the garden was my goal was to make it to Madison Square Garden. So when I got a call from these guys, I get a call that Triple G is fighting of all places at the Garden, and that's the mecca of boxing. And I let them know that's our final filming. So they gave us all access, the zone, Triple G, the Garden, and we got all the footage we needed for the Garden. And then COVID kicked in, and that just kind of dropped us for whatever amount of time it was, and then we got back. We got Tyson Fury and Sean Porter. We got everything. Michael B. Jordan's in the documentary, and Shane Mosley Jr. But we went back home to where I grew up as a farm worker, and so yeah. So it's we're just about done with the editing. I spoke to Gerard Roxburgh, the producer, and they're 43 minutes into editing the 90-minute film. But Michael B. Jordan is going to help us take it to their distributor, which is Amazon. But then I got other Hollywood people that have seen it, and they say, "Hey, man, we could take it right straight to Netflix." So that's the best thing to happen. My daughter works for the Raiders here, and she showed her supervisor, high-end supervisor, the sizzle, and she said, "Oh man, this is great. We got to screen it here." So they're giving us their facilities to show it, and so we'll do that, and then we'll start. Had a group of people that want to sponsor us at the Cannes Film Festival, pay for all expenses. They just wanted associate producer credits. So
Wow.
all this heavy stuff is happening, and so they expect first cut to be by like the end of March, and
Okay.
yeah, and then we'll be screening it. We'll be doing it out. And tell you, I got these guys that want to sponsor all these film festivals. So, but I said I want to get this sold. I said, why go to the film festivals if I can get it sold, right? But I'll go.
Sure.
I'll go with their presence. They know it. For me, it's not about economics. It's about getting it out there. So
That's gonna be legendary, man.
it's
That's
gonna
gonna
be
be
badass, man.
legendary.
Because it's the type of film, hey Johnny, where if I could do it, anybody could do it. There's a certain pattern of success, and you know that. Even that line that you and Liz were scared to cross to do what you're doing now. I tell people, if you don't cross it, you never get there. And like I say, I'm no different than nobody, bro. I'm picking peaches, tomatoes, cotton figs, and I'm dreaming of becoming a professional baseball player like Roberto Clemente, my idol. So I always had that dream. I always knew I was going to be a professional in something. I just didn't know it was going to be this game.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, I mean, sometimes life leads you down a path that you're like, when you look back, you're like, wow, I can't believe I'm here.
oh, it blows my mind every day. You don't think it blows every time I'm on the freeway and I see all the casinos and I'm doing all this and I'm thinking, damn, I'm here. And so if you notice when when I do my shows, on the back of my collar on my outfits, I have Planada, and Planada is my little hometown. And when I was growing up, there's like 1,500 people, and 95% of them were Mexican, Latinos. So I grew up in that environment. And that's why I never forget where I come from, and that's why I always say, if I could do it, anybody could do it, man. It's an honor being here and sharing, and I try to help everybody and give back.
You do, man. You do. Who was your role model on becoming such a humble person? And man, this is my boy Carlos Colon Velez.
Yeah, hey man, my mom and dad, bro. They've always been like that. They, we all grew up as farmers. We all grew up poor, so they always helped. But they fought for the rights of the farm workers with Julio Cesar Chavez, and so they're my inspiration, man. And to always give back and stay humble and so much easier to do. One thing I don't like is assholes and kiss asses. I ain't fake, bro.
And, man, keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, of course. But
real recognizes real.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And I'm not good with fake people. To me, they're not people of confidence. They get there in different manners than hard work.
No, I get that. Absolutely. From the time that you started this journey with the documentary, how long has that been? I know you said that there was a gap in COVID.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Not counting the COVID thing.
Yeah. Counting the COVID. Well, I'm going to tell you, because when I
count it
in the sizzle, they're talking to me. I said, the legendary Cutman, they're in their 70s and 80s. I'm still in my 60s. I think at that time I was like 68, 69. Bro, December 29th, I'm going to be 73.
God bless. Wow.
So it's been a blessing.
It's been a long one, man.
Yeah, but it's we never gave up, and it's been a pleasure, man. And when people just come forward and helping us, and these are high-end Hollywood people. I had this one guy that offered, he goes, "Nate, I got $300,000 for you guys right now." I had some Native American friends from North Dakota that donated, gave us a grant of $100,000 to film. So it's a A-level film, no doubt about it. And the story is great, and we're just about done.
Man, I can't wait. I can't wait to see that, man. Yeah. I am here with the legend himself, Jacob Stitch Duran. Did you have people like how the fighters do before the fight, the whole 24/7, and where they have them working out? Did you have people following you during fights, backstage, like a film crew?
It was, yeah. I did the shows 2 weeks ago. Yeah, ESPN shows, Top Rank shows in Phoenix.
Was that the one where you were in Robesi's corner for that?
I was with Robesi, yeah. Robesi, and
every time I see you, Stitch, I'm like, yo, that's my boy Stitch right there.
Yeah. I was so anyway. Rudy Mondragon is the director, and he had permission for Top Rank, so he showed up there. And Top Rank, we were going to bring our own camera guy, but get what they call B footage of him with me and this and that, and in the dressing rooms and wrapping the guy's hands, and so we got all that, but Top Rank, being that it was a big card because they had Navarrete with Oscar Valdez, and they supplied their camera guy. So they let their camera guy, get the footage that we needed. So yeah, we got that. We got everything, bro.
Good. That's what I'm saying. I like to watch stuff like that. And this is the reason why I love when I get credentials to shows, to fight. I like to be backstage. I like to see what goes on behind the scenes. Before the fighters get into the ring, before the whole, communication, warming up. I love it. Oh, nothing like it.
There's nothing like it. That's what fights. I've done so many fights. Not even about the fights no more. And you're right. It's about the characters and the events that go on behind the scenes. Because all these fighters are good kids. They all have dreams. And but you're right. Backstage, there's nothing like it.
Oh yeah, Lord. I love it.
Just the stories when I'm wrapping hands, talking to these guys, because I always like to talk to them and get relax them and all that. But those stories are priceless, man.
No, absolutely, man. Latinos we age well, just like wine. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, I feel blessed, man. Thank God.
That's what's up. But so this thing with this documentary, it really wasn't anything, anything big time for you, because you've been on the big screen. Working these Creed movies. Let's talk a little bit about the Creed movies, the Creed experiences, man. That's a big deal, working side by side with Michael B. Jordan, with Sylvester Stallone. And there's another installment, if I'm not mistaken, coming out that you're going to be in, correct?
Yeah, they're working on number 4, but no, this goes way back. And so I'm leaving.
How did that even start, Stitch?
Well, just by fate, bro. It just happens, right? And I'm telling you, when I say it just happens, it happens. So the day that I've been with RJ Reynolds Tobacco Company for 23 years, and they're starting to downsize, right? So they give us what they call a buyout offer. If we would leave the company, they would pay us for 1 year and give us all the benefits that went with working full time. So I figured at that time it'd be a good opportunity to concentrate on boxing, because I was already working and all that. Well, the day that I'm leaving, I get a call that they want me to do an audition for a movie called Here Comes the Blue, Played to the Bone, with Woody Harrelson and Antonio Banderas.
I remember.
Right? So I said, yeah. So I'm nervous. I'm a worker, right? I'm nervous. I'm with my boss, and finally I tell Augie, my manager, I said, Augie, look, man, and I'm nervous, right? I got an offer to go be in a movie, and the audition's at 3:00, and this is like 11. He goes, hey, man, I'm just here to sign you out. Boom, boom, boom. I went and did the audition, and I got the part. So I wanted to be the Cutman with Antonio Banderas because he was Latino, right? Well, Chuck Modoc, the legendary Cutman, they used to put the tape on his head and all that.
I remember he used to be. Wasn't he with? He was with Chavez, right?
He was Chavez and Paez and De La Hoya.
I remember.
So he got in front of me, in front of Banderas. So he ended up working with Banderas, and I ended up working with Woody Harrelson. But in the movie, Harrelson's the one that gets cut, and twice the promoter tells him, the promoter tells, you got the best cut man in boxing, and then he gets cut, and the referee, don't worry, you got the best cut man in boxing. So I got that role, and then I did the second one I did was Ocean's 11, when they robbed the casino. Lennox Lewis is fighting Vladimir Klitschko, and I'm Vladimir Klitschko's Cutman in the movie. It's only a 4-day shoot when they get in the fight, right? After that, I ended up working with Vladimir for 8 years. And then I did Balboa, when Rocky fought his last fight.
You were Tarvis, Tarvis character.
I tell people I was a light-skinned brother in Tarver's corner. But I brought in Livingstone Bramble, former world champion.
Yeah, I remember Livingstone Bramble.
I brought these guys in to work the corner with us. And but when Joe Cortez called me to be in the movie, right here where I'm sitting at, I turned it down. And because I had a big world title fight in Paris, France, and then the week after I was going to be in London with Audley Harrison. And I called my wife on the phone right here, and I tell her I can't go. She goes, are you crazy? She goes, Rock is an American icon. You have to do it. Yeah. And I thought about it, Johnny, and I'm here. I deleted the message I was sending to Audley Harrison's people, pay, flights, and all that. And turns out that the fight in France got canceled anyway. So I called Joe Cortez, and he got me back. And that was my second one. And then I did Here Comes the Boom with Kevin James and Salma Hayek, MMA movie. And then Creed 1, Creed 2, Creed 3. And Michael says, you're with me as long as you want. So they're working on 4.
They're working on, man. But they haven't started filming that yet, though, right?
No. Michael just finished a scary movie with Ryan Coogler directed it and wrote it with Omar Miller. Just finished, but it's a movie in the old South and something about vampires or something suspenseful. But yeah, he just finished that, and so now they're going forward, and it's going to take a couple of years at least.
You think that long?
Yeah. Just preparation, locations, wardrobe, everything, practicing, and all that, and it's a process, man, that these guys go through. So. Yeah, I've been blessed, man, to be part of the Hollywood industry. And when the Creed 3 came out, I went back home to Merced's a big town next to Granada, but I bought 50 tickets, and the first ones I invited, of course, my brothers and sisters, but the ones I grew up with in the migrant camp. We're all old now, right? But there's 10, 15 of us. I gave them tickets first, and then the rest people I went to school with and all that, and family. So we went to go see the Creed movie together. Yeah, so
that's amazing, man.
Yeah.
No, that's amazing. Like I said, man, when I see you on TV, I'm like, yo, that's my boy Stitch right there.
Yeah, it's a blessing, man. I'm telling you.
We got a couple of questions. Who is your favorite fighter now? Liz, she's on a roll.
Wow.
That's gonna
Who's
be
my
hard. I
favorite?
think that's gonna be hard for you to answer, right?
Yeah, I can, man. I love them all, man. It's like saying I like you better than Liz. Sorry, Liz. I can't do that. No, too many guys, man. It's not. But they all show me a lot of love, man.
I tried this question a while ago. I think the first interview I tried, I
Can't do
said,
it.
"Who's been your favorite person to work with?" And you said the same thing. They're all like, "Oh,
It's
Johnny, I don't
tough
have
to
a
do,
favorite."
man. Yeah. I don't know. How can I pick you over your wife? Right? I can't do that. So
I got you. I got you. Biggest fight you worked, Eddie Alvarez. Shout out to you, Eddie. Wow, there's been
well,
a lot, man.
there's plenty, man. But Vladimir Klitschko and Anthony Joshua, and that's when Klitschko lost his world title. But what makes it so special? I mean, there's so many in all sports, right? But what made this one special was I didn't see Vladimir and Vitaly until Friday at the weigh-ins because my daughter Carla had just gotten married in the island of Crete. So I flew in. She got married Wednesday. I flew in Thursday night. So I'm in the dressing room and I'm talking to him. I tell you what goes on behind the scenes is best. And we're talking about things and this and that. Finally, I put my hand on Vladimir like this. I said, Vladimir, don't worry about nothing tomorrow. I'm going to take care of you like you're my son. And I leave because I know he can't sleep, right? Man, I'm putting the final Vaseline on him right before Michael Buffer does the announcements. And he says, you can call me son. So, bro, it gave me chills, man. Because here I am,
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing, but that's not the end of it. He calls me, hey, daddy, that was it. But then the last time I saw him was in Germany. And it's like 3-4 months later. And I asked him this one question. I said, Vladimir, why? That's all I asked. He goes, Stitch, he goes, there's very few people I trust in my life. You are one of them. So that has to be extremely, extremely great moment for me. In MMA, not so much a fight, but a moment wrapping Fedor Emelianenko's hands. As a legendary Russian fighter and working with a lot of Russians, they don't speak a lot, very quiet. I'm wrapping his hands and, yeah, that's it. And finally, after I finished, okay, how did it feel? He goes, super, super. Bro, that's all he said. But what made it special, the last time I saw him, I was Scott Coker last night, was the last Bellator fight I did. And I come in from the airport and I'm in the lobby and he comes up to me and he gives me a hug. And Russians don't do that. But he says, I have sweats for you. And he sent a guy upstairs and he brought me team sweats with my name on them, front and back. And, never wore them, but it was the thought that he thought about me when he was in Russia. And man, we can sit here hours and hours. And if you ask me about a fighter, I'll probably tell you a great story.
Man, I think I did last interview. I threw some names out at you. You told me stories, man.
Oh, crazy, man.
Yeah. I think I know the answer to this question. Heavy Chevy guy. Shout out to you, man. Thanks for rocking out with us. Nastiest cut you had to work on and with who? I think I know the answer to this.
Which one?
Vladimir Klitschko. The one that you said that you had to stop that cut, that he ended up winning that fight and ended up being champion for 8 years.
Yeah. No, that was, of course, that was one of them, but there's been others. I mean, Raul Marquez.
So give me, well, you said the other one, right? With the 5 cuts.
Yeah. Five cuts. I mean, that's Forrest Griffith, when he fought Shogun, same thing, there's too many, man.
Yeah.
Just, yeah.
Exactly.
It's
Sargento 123 is my boy.
I told you, man. Edward James Olmo stuff.
You nailed it, man. I'm here with no, I'm not here with Edward James Olmo. I'm here with the great
Edward James almost.
Duran. Yes, almost.
Stallone says Edward James almost. So.
Would you act as a Cutman in another movie if given the opportunity?
What's that?
He has another question. Would you act as a Cutman in another movie if given the opportunity?
Oh, that's a good question. I thought about that the other day. Out of respect to Michael B. Jordan, because he's done so much, I would go through them first to get approval and to see if it was all right, respectful. But I would think he would say yes, because it only gives credibility to the Creed movies, right? That's a great question that nobody's ever asked either. You have some good listeners, bro.
My audience, man, they come through, man.
No, they do.
This is how we do it up at the Hangout Spot, Stitch.
Hey, man, I tell you, man, we hang out. It's nothing like shop talk. That's all it is, man.
For sure. Raymond Moore, shout out to you, man. Yo, Duran, they got you in the new boxing game.
Yeah.
You're in the Undisputed?
Yeah. Oh, let me tell you about that. But your viewers.
I don't have it. Yeah, I don't have it.
Look, I didn't show you me and
that way, the other way.
See, look at
that. There you go.
All right. So in the video game, yeah, they call me to be in the video game, which is awesome. But I did like 3 video games with the UFC, right? But this one was easy because I went to Los Angeles and they had like a big giant sphere and 240 cameras. And I sit there and they take all these pictures. Well, when the game comes out, if you're playing it, you choose whoever you want as a fighter and all that, a Cutman. But every time they log on to you, I get paid according to that. And
really, that's how it works?
Yeah. It works for us, you know. And nice. But as you look at it, how many Cutmen do you know? And so I get
you're getting paid because you're the most popular one.
Yeah, of course, free money, bro. but the thing about it is they have me without my glasses, you know, and it was good. But when Mike Tyson fought Amir Abdullah, that we worked the corner together, he invited me to go have dinner with the president of Undisputed. And I said, man, you got to put my glasses back on. But I'll take it that way, you know. So yeah, I'm in the Undisputed game.
Oh, I didn't know because I don't have that game. I'm not really a big gamer like that, man. I'm so busy with work and doing my thing here, man. I don't have time for video games.
Yeah, I guess it's available on all platforms, and I know nothing about platforms. But I know
PlayStation, Xbox, PC. Yeah. No,
people have been sending me videos and pictures and
for sure.
Raymond Moore about that. You know,
Raymond Moore. That's a good one. I didn't have that as a question. Shout out to Raymond Moore, man. Shout out to the Hangout. Yo, appreciate you, Raymond, for rocking out with us, man. This is how we do it up.
That was good.
But I didn't know.
I've been blessed with things just happening. You know.
Yeah, that's right, Stitch. You know, he's seen them all, man. Forrest Griffin, he's seen them all, man. He's been around.
You know, and let me tell you real quick about Forrest Griffin when he beat when they did the reality show finale when he fought Stephen Bonner, right? I saved his ass on, and he's going to be in the documentary, hopefully, because he talked about those 2 fights. But I'm standing there after the fights as they do the announcements with the corner guys, the coaches. And one of the coaches says, Stitch, because I'm not gay, man, but I got to give you a kiss. Thank you. And he kissed me on the cheek. You know? So that was Forrest Griffin.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, we got a question here. Did the create? Well, I think you answered that, right? Which was I didn't know that. I didn't know every time they pick you.
Yeah. So every time they pick me, I get X amount of money.
That's what's up, man. Yeah. That's what's up. Pristine Sports Network. Shout out. You're in the building. Those are my boxing boys. The boxing voice is in the building. Appreciate you for rocking out with us, my brother. I can't afford to hire you as a Cutman as a game though yet. So I guess you gotta earn a living or earn enough to hire you as the Cutman, and you're probably super expensive in the game.
hey, well, Raymond, tell him you know me, bro. And tell him I'll do it pro bono.
This is awesome, man. Raymond Moore, shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. We got a $2 super chat from Pristine Sports Network, my brother. Thank you, man. Shout out to the Hangout Spot, my guy. You know you my guy as well. The boxing voice, those are my peoples, man. I appreciate you rocking out with us. Yep, free money, man. Free money for Stitch.
It's just like the movies that I've been in, residuals.
Yeah,
I just get free what they call mailbox money, and they come in, and just that continues forever. I've done 7 movies, and I just I became so they sent me a check. You know.
Damn. Well, I can't tell you how many times I've seen the Creed movie. So you know, I'm contributing to that, right?
Yeah, they're fun movies to make, and just to hang out with Michael B. Jordan, and he lets me use my own tape and I have my own name. So
right. That's what I'm saying. You get to play yourself. Like how many people get to play themselves in a movie? Right. When you get to play yourself in a movie, that's how you know you're the man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
For real. Heavy chubby guy. Your fighter has to be a superstar to even be able to hire Stitch in the game. I'm not surprised.
Man. I gotta call these guys and tell them to change that. Like 4 rounders in real fights. Like in real fights, 4 rounders, 6 rounders, and 8 rounders. I don't even charge them. And because I want them to know the importance of having a good corner. And they're not making no money.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. He's earned it, man. He's put in that work, man. Great show, great guests. No, listen, man. Thank you for rocking out with us, man. I wouldn't have a show if it wasn't for great guests and obviously my viewers. But now that you talk about teaching tell us a little bit about One Last Round, your website, right? Because that's made basically for educational purposes.
Yeah, StitchDuran.com. Well, actually, I put a video up because I get offers to do seminars all the time, but I can't because of my schedule, right? It's tough to commit to one. And so what I did is I put it in video format, and it's available at Stitch Duran. It's only $50. It's not even for me to make money. That's not where my money comes from. It's so guys could learn how to wrap hands for boxing, for MMA, how to work on cuts, how to work on swelling. It talks about the medications we use, the supplies you need for your bucket. So everything that I do in a seminar, I did it on video. And if you want to just learn to, let's say, wrap hands for MMA, you can rent it for $10. I mean, nobody does that, right? But I did it to give it back into the system. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure that's one of the questions I was going to ask you. I'm sure up and coming Cutman will ask you for advice, right? To be a mentor. I mean, your phone's got to be going off the hook.
I get it all the time. I get doctors, paramedics, EMTs, nurses, housewives, guys just starting off, and I tell them, I said, look, what's it take? Can you be my mentor? And I can't, because I don't want to teach you and then you go out there and say I taught you and you're not properly experienced through cuts. But I tell them, look, you got to spend hours and days and weeks and months and years in the gym. You got to be with these guys, be part of them, and understand the physics and the mental game, and then you donate your own time wrapping hands. You get the confidence of these guys, and hopefully they'll have you work a corner. And as you're doing that, you're learning about cuts, and then you graduate into that. But you just don't walk into it. It's not fair to the fighters.
Absolutely. And like I said, like you said, the weird thing about boxing is that you don't even need any type of certifications or anything.
Not at all, bro. Yeah, not at all.
That was mind blowing when you told me that. But I mean, that's boxing, right? It's a gladiator sport in a sense too, right? And it kind of embodies the meaning of gladiator sport. But yeah, man, for my viewers, man, check out the website. Obviously, a lot of learning material in there. I've seen it. I've checked out the website. One of the things, like I said, I mean, your books. You got books that are out, and that documentary is going to be fire.
Yeah, that's
going to be absolutely fire. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be off the hook, man. Not just because it's me, but the work that they're doing is A-level stuff all the time. I'm also working. It's called the Cut Cream. These guys created a.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you because you got you're into a lot of other businesses.
Yeah.
What else are you into?
The business aspects, but it's the Cut Cream, and we're kind of developing. What's been developed. I've used it on bare knuckle fighters, and it accelerates the healing process. But now
you got your own tape. You got your own tape.
Got my own tape, and that's
I see it all the time
as well. That's available at Cutman for Hire Supplies. Cutman and then number 4. But awesome. I'm also working with these people that want to create a cannabis line, tie stitch. So
how's that working out? Because you told me about that 6 months ago.
Yeah. They were gonna use this company. Well, we're still gonna use this company, but their facility isn't. It's not as big as they need it to turn over all their product and mine. So they're teaming up with the natives here in Nevada. They're building like 100,000 square foot hothouse, whatever they call them. Where we'll be able to grow it there. So that's in the process also. And another movie. Who knows? But I've been blessed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember the last show that we did together, you broke the news that you were going to be working with David Benavidez. Remember that?
Yeah,
you broke it on the Hangout Spot, and you worked with him in the last fight. You'll be working with him this one?
I haven't got the call yet. But last time I talked to the dad is, he had mentioned that, he's going to work with me and all that. And it was fun working with him the last time because I'll give you a little behind the scene. So his dad, Jose is in the Creed movie, Creed 3 with me. Great guy. But way before that, his dad, I met him.
Oh, he spoke highly of you in another. So all these interviews that I do, when your name comes up, everybody speaks highly of you, including myself.
But let me tell you the the father son. So I met the father, Jose, in London. We're going to the weigh-ins. He's working with some Ryan Bader UFC fighters, and he's sitting next to me, and we're talking and all that. And I didn't know that till I saw him when David fought. But when he fought Caleb, they sent me to the dressing room to watch the father wrap hands, and at that point the commission's there, so it's really no, but it's psychological. Well, the father gets a little nervous because he knows that I know how to wrap hands. He's following his format because that's my format, and so I make him a little nervous, and I'm talking and all that. Finally, he gets a tape and he twists it, goes between the fingers, and I say, "Why are you doing that?" "Hey, fuck you, man! Who the fuck you think you know?" I got him right, and David just looking like this and all that, and he apologized after the fight, right? And but we told that story, and it's funny because as I leave, Jose's telling me, and he's telling him in Spanish, "Is the guys you're hanging out with?" You know? But anyway, he apologized, and you know, so yeah, hopefully I'll work with David. We'll see what happens. I
hope so,
you know,
man.
yeah.
I think it's a match made in heaven. He's fighting against David Morrell.
Yeah,
February 1st, Las Vegas, your backyard. I'm looking forward to that fight. A lot of fireworks.
February the 1st or the 7th?
February 1st.
Okay, the 1st. Yeah, all right, cool.
Yep. It's the 1st, and then you got Tank Davis March 1st. That's going to be at Barclays. So this the first half. The first half of 2025, there's a lot of good shows. Riyadh season's putting a big card together on the 22nd of February. So there's a lot of stuff going on, but at the end of the day, I mean, I see you every week.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't matter. Like I said, I was surprised that I wasn't going to see you this weekend. What do you think about this weekend? Are you when you are not at fights, are you watching fights? No. You just get away from it. Okay.
You know, it's funny when
that was always a question I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, it's just I like to look at the results, and then but when Earl Spence fought Crawford here in Las Vegas, I had VIP tickets, red carpet and all that with Floyd Sr. and Joy Joyce and some other guys, and I'm sitting second row at ringside, and I'm like this with these guys, and I said, man, I'll be back. I get up and I walk out. Shit, I went to the dressing room and watched the fights on TV in the dressing room.
I get what you're saying.
Just I'll read about them.
All right. Well, there's a big one, the rematch between Tyson, your boy. I mean, you've been in his corner before.
Yeah. And then Usyk was part of. I knew him way when Klitschko's were fighting, and I knew him way back then. Triple G, they were just up and coming.
Wow. Crazy. Like I said, but no, listen, man, Stitch, what can I say, man? You the man, man. Thank you for coming on, man, and spending some time with me. I mean, my viewers, I'm sure they're gonna enjoy this. If you're watching live, make sure you smash that like button, as it will help with the visibility of the channel. I'm here with the great Jacob Stitch Duran. It doesn't get any bigger than this, man. Like I said, man, I'm privileged to be, to call Stitch a friend. You've been to the Hangout Spot before. You're back. Your family. Anybody who comes to the Hangout Spot, your family. You're welcome back anytime. I'd like to get you back once the documentary drops.
Yeah, of course, yeah, of course. Because we're going to be inking it big time, man. And
But that's what I'm saying. You're going to be on a tour after that. But all I ask is that you make a little bit of time for me.
Of course, man. I always do. So we'll talk down the road, man. But yeah, it should be hopefully by the end of March. We'll have what they call first cut, and it's a trip because they did because the credits are normally at the end. Well, on this one, they showed me this with this one piece that it's all these guys that are in the film are talking about Stitch and Jacob and this and that, and throughout this whole, and then they're showing that this, so this could be in the beginning of the movie, so they'll show the credits for the big ones, the producers, so and so and all that, but they go into talking about Stitch this and that, and they never show my face. And finally, when that finishes with the credits, then we'll go into my story, which I think is pretty badass, man. But there's a ending where I'm wrapping this Native American, this chief, with his war bonnet on that donate. He's the guys that donated the 100,000. They gave us a grant. But in this piece, Michael B. Jordan is saying when Stitch wraps hands, it's a spiritual for him. And at that time, they showed me wrapping this Native American chief's hands. Badass, man. Badass. And the words that have come out, people have seen it, has been chilling. Give me chills.
Wow.
So
Can't wait, man.
We'll do it again, bro.
I can't wait. Again, I'm gonna stay in touch with you. You know how we do it up, man. For my viewers, again, Stitch Duran, make sure you check out the website. The documentary is coming out in 2025, hopefully by the end of March.
Yep.
Like you said, we're going to be all over it here at the Hangout Spot, man. We'll be talking about it, and then hopefully we'll get you on after that, you know, for a little bit of a victory tour.
Yeah, and I'm going to see if
Well-deserved.
I'm sure they will, you know, Gerard, the producers, and I'm going to see if they can make a little piece, you know, maybe it's a 30-second piece that I'll be able to show not only you, but no trailer side, so to speak.
Shoot it over,
you know,
man. I would love to be able to have that so I can share.
You know, shoot it over before we do the show, and then that way your viewers could see, you know, some samples of what's going on.
Listen, man, I appreciate you.
All right.
You know the deal, man. You're a true friend. I appreciate the time.
Appreciate it, my man.
All right, man. Take care.
Until then, adios.
Adios. There you have it. I mean, the great Stitch Duran, man. In the world of combat sports, it doesn't get any bigger than my boy Stitch, man. And the thing I love about Stitch is that he's down to earth, man. You know, I've met him, you know, at live fights, always shows me love. And you know, he was gracious enough to come on and give me an interview. About 6 months ago, I had him on. We did a fantastic interview. And he promised, you know, I told him, I said, Stitch, I want to start doing some live shows later on in the year. I want to get you back on. You know, he's just such a polarizing figure and so big in the boxing world. And no problem. You know, I stay in touch with him. You know, I have his number. I stay in touch with him. And, you know, the moment that I send him that message about a week ago that I wanted to get him on, I mean, he didn't hesitate. You know, just let me know. We'll get on. We'll chop it up. We had a good time. I thought this was a fantastic interview. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it. Shout out to my cousin Angel. Hey, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it. Wayne Rose, my guy. So great to see amazing content from my boy at the Hangout Spot. Listen, man, I appreciate the love and support. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my followers and my viewers, man. It's been an honor. Nicely done. Appreciate that. My baby girl. Appreciate you. Love you. Alexa, I love you. That's my baby girl right there. Great interview. Thank you, man. I appreciate the love. Yeah, man, the documentary, man, it's gonna be dope, man. It's gonna be dope. Yeah, yes, I gotta represent my people. Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Hearn. Appreciate you tuning in. But the documentary is gonna be fire because, like I said, it doesn't get any bigger, you know, than Stitch Duran. There aren't many people in the boxing world that he has not worked with. And like I said, anywhere I see him, he showed me love, hug, pictures, whatever. We chop it up. So I'm going to have him back. Once the documentary drops, we'll have him back. He's going to send me some clips, hopefully, of the trailers. So when I do my live shows, you know, I'll be able to show, you know, the viewers, you know, some clips so that we got something to look forward to. Hopefully at the end of March, he said it should be dropping. There was a few years, if you were here, the entire interview, a few years in the making. But yeah, man, Stitch is always a great interview. And this was a great show. Next week, though, we're going to rock out Monday instead of Tuesday because next Tuesday is Christmas Eve. And, you know, everybody's going to be doing their thing, you know, with the family at 9 o'clock at night, getting, you know, close to midnight. So I don't want to push the envelope. I'm going to be doing my thing as well. So we're going to rock out Monday night at 9 o'clock because there's going to be a lot to talk about because we got the big heavyweight championship rematch between Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk in Saudi Arabia. It's going down. The first one was won by Alexander Usyk in a fight that went back and forth. I mean, Tyson Fury cooked the first half of that fight. Usyk landed a big left hand, hurt Tyson Fury, almost put him out, but it changed the entire trajectory of the fight, and he was able to bank in all those rounds in the second half and come off with a decision victory. I think this fight is going to be even better. So I'm looking forward to it. We're going to recap that on Monday. In fact, Monday, I'm going to have head trainer Brian Norman Sr. on with me. He is the father and trainer of the WBO welterweight champion of the world, Brian Norman Jr. I've had him on it with you know, on an interview in the past. It's a great interview, man. Brian Norman Sr., he doesn't hold back, man. He lets it out. And he's actually going to be fighting in an exhibition fight early 2025. He's going to make a comeback in an exhibition fight against another guy, Greg Hackett, another former fighter. Brian Norman Sr. used to be a former fighter. Greg Hackett was a former fighter as well. They've had some beef back and forth on social media, so they've agreed to some kind of an exhibition fight. So Brian Norman Sr., my man, I call him Uncle B. He's going to be on the show Monday night with me at 9 o'clock. We're going to talk about his fight, and we're going to talk about Junior, because Brian Norman Jr., he made a statement this week. He's fighting against Derek Cuevas, I believe in March, in a fight that got postponed. He's going to be fighting in March, but he made a statement. He's calling out Boots. He's calling out Teofimo. I mean, he's calling out all the big names. He basically called out his hit list for 2025. So we're going to be talking to Senior about that. You know, I've had Brian Norman Jr. on as well, the welterweight champ as well. But we're going to get Senior on, and we're going to see if we can get Junior on as well at some point after the holidays. But Monday, 9 o'clock, Brian Norman Sr. is going to join me. We're going to talk that shit. We're going to break down Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. But let me know in the comment section who you got. You got Tyson Fury in the rematch? Do you got Usyk? I don't know, man. This is going to be a crazy rematch, man. I mean, I'm leaning towards Tyson Fury because he was cooking. He was absolutely cooking the first half of that fight, using his length, his reach. He was hitting Usyk to the body. He's the much bigger guy, but he started showboating and he got comfortable and he got caught. I don't know if he gets this comfortable this time. He's coming in a lot more heavier. He's already said he's going to come in a lot more heavier, which is a tactic that worked against Deontay Wilder in the rematch. So he's going to be the much bigger guy. If he boxes from the outside and does what he does, he did hurt Usyk a couple of times in the first half of that fight. I think if he stays focused, he can win. But again, Usyk he's an amazing fighter. He's one of the best fighters in the world, pound for pound. So I don't know. I'm rooting for Tyson Fury. I'm going to say Fury, but it wouldn't surprise me if Usyk wins that rematch. And if he does, that means he's beaten Tyson Fury twice. He beaten Anthony Joshua twice. He beat Dubois. I mean, he will probably go down as one of the best heavyweights in the last 10, 15 years. You know, and this is a guy who came up from cruiserweight, you know, so he's really a smaller heavyweight, you know, and he's mowing down all these bigger heavyweights. So, man, shout out to him. So that fight's going to be Saturday in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh season card. Can't wait for that. So, again, Monday we will break it down, man. Eddie Alvarez, appreciate you rocking out with me, man. Yes, we're going to keep it coming, man. We rocking out here live every Tuesday and Thursday nights, sometimes even 3 times a week. You know, we might even do a Wednesday show because we got a lot of guests lined up. We got a lot of guests. I mean, 2024, we made our mark here in the Hangout Spot. 2025, we're taking it to the next level. You know, we're trying to take over. You know what I mean? So, you know, keep rocking out with me. Spread the word. You know, tell a friend and tell a friend. We're going to need more subscribers, you know, to raise that street cred, to continue to get the big names to come on the channel, man. And he needs to be Amanda Serrano Stitch, man, with the rematch with Katie Taylor comes up. That was crazy to watch. Carlos, if you were not on earlier, we actually touched on that. And Stitch said that if he was in the corner, he might have considered stopping it when the cut happened because she was up in the fight. But again, you know, that's that's hypothetical, right? But again, you know, who knows? You know, a lot of these fighters, when they go through something like that, they realize maybe the next time around I got to go out there and get the best. And realistically, it doesn't get any bigger than Stitch. But anyhow, listen, I appreciate everybody for rocking out with me on my live today on Thursday. Enjoy the fights this weekend. Enjoy that rematch. We will be back here Monday night, 9 o'clock. Make sure you are tuned in. But as always, this is your boy Johnny signing out from the Hangout Spot, and I'll talk to everybody soon.